Hi, I'm Allison the Crocheter.
And I'm Vivian the Knitter, and you're listening to Keep Calm and Carry Yarn.
Hello, and welcome to episode 26 of Keep Calm and Carry Yarn. This is a knitting and crocheting podcast hosted by me and my mom, Vivian. I'm recording from my home here in Edinburgh, Scotland.
And I'm recording from my home here in New Hampshire. Hello, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us yet again for our little crafting session, mother-daughter session.
Yep.
So thanks to any new listeners who are stopping by. Thanks for giving us a try. I know there's lots and lots of crafting podcasts now and lots of crochet podcasts lately, like in the past since we've started. I feel like a bunch have started. But we're super special because we are a nice equal bit of crocheting and knitting. And thanks to all our returning listeners as well.
Hello, everybody. I feel like I'm Kermit the Frog.
Why?
Isn't that what he always said? Oh, no, that was Grover. Grover was one who said, hello, everybody.
Oh.
From Sesame Street. So I'd like to say a special thank you to Lara Knits. Her name is Lara. She said hello to us on our Ravelry welcome thread. Hi, Lara.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us. And that's all we have for the
thank yous.
Thank yous.
Special thank yous.
This time around. Yeah.
That's okay. We can jump right into our Buzzfeed quiz.
Yeah. Did you like this one?
Yeah, it was hard. So it's this food color test will reveal one of your best qualities. And there wasn't that many questions. And
nope.
It didn't really seem to have a rhyme or reason.
No,
it just
didn't.
Yeah, it just showed you 4 pictures of food. Like really nice, aesthetically pleasing pictures of food. And then you just had to pick one out of the 4.
Yeah, so were we supposed to pick something that we wanted to eat or just look pleasing to the eye?
I think pleasing to the eye.
Because that's what I went for. I went for pleasing to the eye, not necessarily what I would want to eat.
I feel like I was like a mix of both. Yeah, I did something in the middle. Anyway, so the first question, we've got a picture of a cake.
Pink frosted cake.
Pink frosting with the fresh flowers on top, which I find very appealing. And then like a pumpkin harvesty soup, and then a bowl of lemons, and then a sushi.
Yep.
So I went for the bowl of lemons.
Oh, so did I.
Because it's it's like on the blue background and a blue bowl, and then like a bright pop of yellow.
Yes. I know. For that reason, the next question is, there's also a blue background with a bunch of cut citrus fruits. And I almost picked that one, but I didn't. And then the second picture is berries, just cherries and strawberries and raspberries and blackberries and blueberries. And the third picture is also fruit. Yeah, grapes and oranges and apples. No background. These 2 fruit ones didn't have any background. And the fourth one was on a blue background, and they're tropical fruits, I think. Yeah, tropical.
Yeah,
there's a mango.
Like passion fruit.
And watermelon.
Papaya. With like
kiwi.
the plumeria flower.
Yeah, with
little palm fronds or whatever.
Yep.
So did you go for that one then?
I did. But it's actually very similar to the other one. Like aesthetically.
The citrus
fruits. The colors and the picture and the way it's arranged is very similar. So I had a hard time going one or other. But then I went, I think I'd rather eat that plate of food. Just 'cause it's prettier. Yeah. It's tropical.
Oh, I went for the berries because I kind of went for like the things that I wanted to eat. I love a berry.
Yeah.
And then the third one was you had a clean pink background with pomegranate or multicolored macaroons or a bunch of bananas or like a rainbow of cupcakes.
Yeah. I picked the cupcakes, the rainbow.
I picked the macaroons, so also like kind of rainbowy.
Yeah, except
but I would rather eat
more
the macaroons
pastel-y than the... I love a good frosting. There's a lot of frosting on those cupcakes.
Yeah, but they don't really look like I wouldn't actually want to eat it, like that bright magenta frosting.
I'll eat it. I would eat it.
Well, you know me, I don't really like a lot of frosting.
You always scrape it off. Like, no, I'll eat the frosting.
And then in the second batch, there was like the oranges, where it's like a full orange, and then the next one is like the peeled orange, and then half an orange, and then a quarter of an orange, and then a couple segments, and then one segment. It was just nice, like progression.
So you picked that one for the
next? That's the one that I picked.
Oh, I picked the bananas and the oranges and the carrots and the broccoli.
Oh, you mean
so it's kind of like
it's like a rainbow scale of fruits and veg.
It is exactly on like a picnic table or something like that.
Yeah, and then the last one I went for the spices.
I went for the donuts.
Yeah, the donuts, I think that would have been my second one.
I just like the colors of the donuts. So basically, it was all the things that appealed to me visually. Right. The ones I picked.
So we've got one answer in common. Mm-hmm. So I got loyalty. You care deeply about your friends and family, and you're willing to do anything in your power to help and support them. You take commitments very seriously.
I got intelligence. I'm smarter than you. You're very clever and have a way of seeing the world a bit more clearly than everyone else. You have a great wit and are very good at making snap decisions. I don't know about all of that, but I don't know if I'm good at making snap decisions, but I do make a lot of snap decisions.
Well, I was going to say, I'm a Hufflepuff and you're a Ravenclaw.
Hey! Exactly. I wonder how that happened. That's funny, just based on the colors that we like.
I mean, it wasn't a lot of questions. It was only like 4.
Only 4? I think it was more than 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 questions.
Okay, 5 questions.
Yep, I can count. I can do the math.
Good job.
So, on to our fiber content?
Mm-hmm. What sort of whips have you got going on?
The same exact whips I had last time we recorded. So I was so close to being finished with my Bubbly Sweater. I knitted the first sleeve and it was going very well. And the cuff, I'm just doing a 1x1 rib. And I finished the rib and then I looked at it, the cuff I mean, and it was looking very loosey-goosey. And I realized, crap, I forgot to change needle size. I forgot to go down a couple needle sizes. So I ripped back and I knit it, and then so I was working on it during one of my knitting groups, the 1x1 rib, and then I'm knitting, and I was very happy with it. I was almost done with it, and then the next time I took it out, I looked at it, and there was like one row right smack in the middle where I purled the knits and knit the purls. Like, oh no! Oh, no. So it took me like a good hour, I think, to fix all of that because I was talking at the same time. Like, I just want to be finished with this sweater. I had to drop down to each one. I mean, I probably would have. It probably would have been faster if I just ripped it all the way back and then just knit purled all the way back up. But I decided to drop down and fix each stitch. So anyway, I don't know if I saved any more time, but I'm finished with that one sleeve, and I decided that I'm going to do a tubular
one sleeve sweater. Oh,
yes. A tubular bind off. But before I actually did you have to sew it on the graft, the bind off. Before I did that, Jillian came home yesterday. I tried the sweater on her, so the sleeve looks perfect. I was like, I'm not sure if it's going to be long enough because her arms are longer than than mine. No, her arms are not longer than me, but they are. Her arms are longer than my arms, and it was perfect. So I was like, okay, good. So then I'm about 3/4 away with the second sleeve. Yeah, and we tried the whole thing on her. Looks good. Happy with it. I'll probably finish it by tomorrow, this sweater. I mean, I've been working exclusively on it the last few days. Just there's so much, now that it's warmer, yard work and all that stuff is kind of getting in my way of my
well, I was going to say, instead of taking a nap before we recorded, you could have just powered through and then you would have had an FO.
I'm not sure I would have been able to finish that in an hour. Yeah, I took it out. So what is your whip or your whips?
Is that the only whip you have?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I worked on the last 2 weeks. I have other whips, but
so I'm still working on my pleated cardigan.
Okay.
And I posted on Instagram, so some of our listeners may already know, but I had to rip it all back. And I hadn't gotten very far, but I'd done the instructions have you do part of the back, like maybe half of the back piece, and then you move on to a bit of the front. So I'd started the bits of the front, and then realized somehow that I just did the wrong stitch. Like it was just wrong. Like I don't know.
Is it because of British/American?
No, it tells you to, like, in the second row to do your first double crochet into the gap between the second and the third double crochet in the previous row. And I just, like, didn't count it right. I don't know. Or maybe, no, I didn't count the start chain as a... I just counted wrong. And then I just went with it. So what I ended up with was basically like a granny stitch, but instead of the usual 3,
so basically
3 stitches, it was closer to 2.
So basically you're not good at math either? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not good at counting. That's not even math.
But yeah, you're supposed to be good at math.
Yeah, I am good at math. I'm good at numbers. I'm not good at simple math. I use a calculator. So yeah, I just did it wrong, and I don't know what it was that made me realize it, but I was sat at lunch at work working on it, and I don't know, I just looked at the pattern, and I don't know if it was
a light bulb went off.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm doing it wrong.
So how far did you go? Did you get?
Now I've gotten about as far as I was when I realized.
Before you ripped it out.
Yeah, so I'll take a picture and you can see. So I've re-reached the point again.
Uh-huh.
And
so you would have finished if it wasn't for that mistake?
No, not that far. But I do like the correct stitch pattern a bit better because it doesn't look just like a granny stitch, which is what I was originally doing. I think it kind of, the gaps in this pattern are not as obvious, like, you know, the holes. It's still quite holy, but so that's that. There's not really, other than that really massively obnoxious thing that I did, there's not really much else to say, except possibly that if I was doing it right the whole entire time, I might not have been having as many problems with the short rows. So there's that. I don't know.
So it's probably safe to say that you don't have any FOs either?
No. So that's my one whip. But my even if I hadn't made that mistake, this wouldn't be finished. I wouldn't have gotten that far. My second whip is, I hadn't talked about this last time, did I? This tank top that I'm trying to design / make.
I think you said something on Instagram, and that was the first time I had heard of it.
Yeah, I posted something on Instagram. So I have this yarn, which I had gotten from, what's that yarn outlet thingy we went to when I was home in February?
Oh, Hub's Mill.
It was in the sale bin because it's discontinued yarn. It's a discontinued classic elite yarn called Katie Did, and it's 100% organic cotton ribbon. And then it's in a green olive sort of color. So I got in 5 of those. Can't remember, I feel like the balls were like $2 or $3. So 5 of them, and when I bought it, I was like, I had thought this would be a nice tank top, like summer sort of thing, because it's cotton, but 5 50-gram balls isn't a lot. So I've been trying, I'm saying so a lot. I originally
Don't worry, I'll edit it out.
originally thought that I might just do the front panel as a crochet thing and then somehow sew fabric as the second panel or do a different color in the back. And so when I posted on Instagram, I was just doing a simple, what's it called, moss stitch. It has different names. Tweed stitch or, anyway, basically where you do single crochets and chains, and it's just really simple. But I ended up pulling that back, and what I've now done is a sort of striped look, where the first stripe is like a mesh. I don't know if that's the right word. Is that like a mesh or like a...
Yeah, it's definitely a mesh, very meshy looking.
And then the second stripe is slip stitches that are made to look like purl stitches.
Oh, that's very nice. That's very cool looking.
So it's stripey, it's see-through, so you'd have to wear a tank top underneath it. So I've gotten to the point now where I'm doing the straps for the tank top, and I realize I don't actually know what a tank top should be shaped like. Like if you're actually just making pieces. So I've like Googled a little bit, looked at like the one tank top that I have here that would kind of work, and looked at other tank tops, and I'm just winging it. I'm writing it down, but I'm winging it, and I've had to like undo it a bunch of times and redo it. But yeah, I'm hoping it'll be done for when I go to Rome, which is the last weekend of June. So I still have time, but I'm just working on the front panel. But yeah, so that's what I'm working on, and I think I might just do it so that the front panel and the back panel are exactly the same. Mm-hmm. Will that work?
Yeah, that would work. I mean, as long as you don't do like the back, really high, both in the back and the front.
No, they're going to be a bit.
Going to do lower.
Yeah, lower, but not too low because I don't want my boobs coming out. Not that it matters, since I wear a tank top under anyway.
What is the color? It's really hard to see in this light.
It's a olive green.
Oh, another olive.
Yeah, I mean that's just what they have. It's my cardigan is more of a warmer olive, more orange,
more goldy,
more gold. Yeah. And this is definitely more green.
Don't
know. Yeah. The color is 7339, so that's helpful.
It's going to look really nice when you're done with it.
Yeah. Hopefully. I don't know, I feel like I would want to actually potentially put in the effort to... Like, I don't know that I'd want to just wear a camisole underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd want there to be, like, a lining, but I don't know if I could actually do that myself. With the sewing machine that I have, that kind of scares me. Did I tell you I tried to use it the other day, and...
No.
And it didn't work again?
It didn't work? I had it all threaded and ready to go for you.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the material. Oh, yeah, because like it works with the bits of tartan, but then when I tried to do it with a different fabric, it just wouldn't work. And I can't remember what I was trying to sew anymore.
Oh, I can't help you. I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, sorry, off topic.
Oh. Yep. But since neither of us have FOs, and very little whips, I'm going to talk a little bit about fantasy knitting.
Okay. It's been a while since we did fantasy knitting.
It's been a long while. I had bought this pattern called Zweig, Zweig, a while ago, and it's by Caitlin Hunter, and who was wearing it? I think Kristen Kapoor of Christy Glass? No, is that Yarngasm?
Sure.
She was wearing one at EYF. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm obviously not very good at names, and it was beautiful. But I actually bought that pattern before EYF. I've had it for a while, and I think I bought some yarn for it. And yeah, it's so pretty. I love the lacy. It's got a lacy yoke part, Can you see it?
Yeah.
So I just have to get the yarn for that, but I'm pretty sure I got the yarn for the the body of the sweater. So I've been fantasizing over that one.
What colors are you gonna do?
I picked out this purpley bluish color, hand dyed, and I'll talk about that in Yarny Bits and Bobs. And the other thing that I've been fantasizing about is I wanted to knit the Ecstatic by Isabel Kramer.
Oh, surprise! An Isabel Kramer sweater.
And I actually bought the yarn for it. It was that bright pink Martin's Lab yarn that I got. UIF. Yeah, well, I had notes and everything, and in my notes were wrong, basically. I put down the wrong size. I mean, I wrote down the yardage requirement for a smaller size than I want it to be. So I was like, crap, what am I going to do with this yarn now? So I've been agonizing over that for the last few weeks, and I've finally decided I'm going to knit the Engi, and that one is another color worked yoke, but more color worked. Like the other one, the Zweig doesn't actually have the yoke part. It's a different color in lace, and this one is a traditional color work, kind of like a Icelandic type. And so the body's gonna be the pink, and I have some purpley bits, and I could use the purple for maybe where the green is. And I don't have all the colors yet, so I'm still working on that. So that's been what's been on my mind, what I've been fantasizing about.
The Zweig whatever sweater, it is really nice. Like when you were saying it has a lacy yoke, it's almost like, because it goes, that lace bit carries across all the way on the arms as well. That the arms aren't part of the yoke, is it?
It could be.
Really?
Because it starts. Usually the yoke starts from. It's like you're wearing a circle, and it starts from the neck, and it goes down to about where your sleeves split. So it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I've been fantasizing about, because I haven't really, as I'm mowing the lawn and digging in the garden and stuff like that. I just that means I have to buy more yarn.
I've been actually like adding stuff to my queue and on Ravelry and earmarking which yarns I'm actually going to use and stuff, because I don't actually have that much yarn. All my yarn is, reserved for things.
Yep. So, well, because I've been doing this a lot longer than you have.
Yeah.
So, what's next?
It's been a while since we've had a cow. We had our ultraviolet cow.
That was a very short one.
It was a short one.
It wasn't that long ago. That was just a few months ago.
Right. I don't know. So last summer we did the KALCAL. And so for anyone who wasn't around back then, our KALCAL is KALCAL, as in the knit along, crochet along, where we pit crocheters and knitters against each other in a fun way. In a fun,
I still
not
say
mean way.
Crocheters have an advantage over the knitters, even if we're not counting yardage anymore. But
maybe we can develop like a knitter's handicap.
I don't know how we would do that.
So last year we did everything based off of the yardage that you knitted or crocheted up, and then so everyone who participated was able to submit how many yards they had knitted or crocheted up, and then at the end of the KALCAL, we counted up all those yardage numbers to figure out if the crocheters or the knitters had made more, and the crocheters completely creamed the knitters. Partly because, crocheting eats up a bit more yarn, And also, we probably have slightly more crochet listeners.
Possibly. I think we have twice as many crocheters as we have.
yeah, you would say that.
Well, that's because of you. They're mostly young. Most of our followers are on the youngish side, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, how do you know that?
What? I don't know. Just based off of the pictures. I guess everybody looks really young in their pictures.
So this year, rather than doing the whole thing based off of just yardage, we've created a point system, and we will release the exact point system when the KALCAL begins. But so for instance, say a blanket or a sweater would be 10 points, and that would be the maximum. Whereas a really small item like a washcloth would only be 1 point. Right. So it'll just be that. So the KALCAL is going to start on June 15th, which is a Friday, and then we'll go until the end of August, so August 31st. We'll say whips are allowed within reason. Just, use your own judgment. If you finish it on June 15th, then it probably doesn't count.
Yes, if you cast it on just before June 15th, that counts.
Yeah, I do know. I mean, just
use your best judgment. We're not the knitting crochet Nazis.
Yeah, no. Well, I think Faye usually puts it in the perspective of, usually, I guess, more for themed KALCALs, that she doesn't necessarily want to encourage people to just keep starting new projects and ignore their whips or like have their whips accumulate, because they just, because if you want to participate in a KAL, you want to be able to participate without creating more work for yourself.
Yeah.
Because the KAL's meant to be fun. And by fun, I mean somebody's going to beat somebody else. The crocheters are going to beat all the knitters.
Okay. Okay, fine. But it'll be fun, because I love looking at the pictures, everybody's submissions and stuff like that. It's always
and the KALCAL is a nice, easy one to participate in, because, whatever it is you're working on, it counts. If you're crocheting it or if you're knitting it, it counts.
Yeah. And double dipping, triple dipping is all encouraged.
Yes. And so I also thought, me and you have talked about this a few times, but I've yet to actually bring it to the table on the podcast about listener submissions. So I thought I'd bring it up now. So back when you and I first started listening to podcasts, specifically Harry Potter podcasts, one of the things that I liked about some of the podcasts I listened to were their like listener submissions or like mailbags segments where listeners would, call in and leave a message like on the radio, but in podcast form. And I don't know, I kind of miss that old school days of podcasts. And I feel like that doesn't really happen so much. And I don't know, I can't think of any other crafting podcasts that do that. Do you?
Well, there are some crafting podcasts or knitting ones where they there's Ask Me Anything section where listeners can ask the podcaster. And it doesn't have to pertain to the theme of the podcast. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it would just be nice to listen to hear from our listeners beyond just, Instagram.
So what is your question?
So the reason I mention it now is because with the KALCAL, I thought it might just as a easy starter one, if anybody wanted to tell us about how they got into knitting or crocheting, or sort of why they do one over the other, or
just why do they do it?
Yeah, I mean, just that seems like a nice basic question to start with, but also something that we like to hear about. I may not have mentioned it in a while, but I refuse to knit. I mean, I really, really like all the things you can do with knitting. Like, I love all the projects that you make and other knitters make, and all the
things I make for you.
Or not even for me, but just all the things you make. And like, I kind of wish I could knit without having to learn how to knit, for one thing.
But you do know how to knit.
Okay, but like all the nice, cool stuff. But it's not just that I'm being lazy, but it's also just that I know that there's so much to learn with knitting, and there's so many options, right? Like the world is your oyster when it comes to knitting. Like there are a million bajillion knitting patterns, whereas you're much more limited with crochet, which I don't know. I feel like when I say it this way, it sounds stupid, but
for me, like the crochet bit, seeing what you've been creating with your crochet, I can't. It's a lot of it. Most of it is beyond me. I mean, other than double crochet and treble crochet and all the the basic ones, I don't really know anything. And then you're like crocheting through the back, crocheting for the front, the post, and this is blah 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 blah. I don't.
But that's what I mean. Like,
but for knitting, it's just knit and purl. Basically, you're knitting,
you say
or
that,
you're purling.
but then like, what is all that lace stuff and cables and color rigging and like it's all putting the basic techniques together in different ways and like right? I feel like it's probably the same for knitting as it is for crocheting, except that it's different because one's knitting, one's crocheting. But I mean that's what I mean. Like there's so much to learn just when it comes to crocheting that I kind of want to just get stuck into this.
You want to be as proficient with that as you possibly can?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm not going to say I want to be as proficient in crocheting as I possibly can before I learn how to knit, because I think, you're going to be constantly learning new things anyway, so you're never going to be done being as proficient as you possibly can. But I just want to exhaust as much as I can.
Which is probably impossible.
Yeah, I guess. But I want to feel really competent with the crocheting, because I've not actually done like a lot of. I haven't done that much crocheting, really.
No, but
like,
you are very
it's only
competent.
been a couple
I mean,
years.
you're actually making garments and things, and all I ever did with crochet was granny squares and little doodads, maybe a poncho.
Yeah, but I struggle with the cardigan because I've never done a cardigan before, so I don't really know how that's constructed, and learning that sort of thing would help me for the day when I finally maybe learn how to knit.
If you sewed garments, that definitely
would help
helps.
as well. Yeah.
And I've come into knitting
as a sewer,
as a sewist, because when you say sewer, it's spelled as sewer, so a lot of sewists don't like that.
But yeah, so I don't know. So I thought we could try this, and hopefully somebody submits something. And if nobody submits anything, I'm gonna cry.
We do have one submission, because when you asked about it a while ago, remember you told me to ask my friend. Shall I read it?
If you
Why
want.
do I knit?
Oh,
she wrote, my grandmother was a knitter, and although I was too young to have learned from her, and remember being mesmerized watching her knit, I think now I feel a connection to her through my knitting. I feel as though I'm carrying on with her favorite hobby, and that's my friend Paula, who is she's not my only non-internet friend that actually listens to us. Somebody that I didn't meet through the internet.
Right. Yeah.
And we have a lot of internet friends now, but we met them through the internet. So yeah, I thought that was very sweet and very poignant.
I guess though, with things like this, knitting, has that old timey.
Yeah, don't you hate it when people look? I was like, hey, is that knitting? Is that crochet? What are you doing? Oh, my grandmother used to do that. Like, I am not your grandmother. It's like, how many times have somebody come up and said that?
But yeah, so if you would like to submit something for us to play or read on the podcast about why you knit or crochet, or why you don't do one or the other, or if you prefer one or the other, whatever it may be, then we would love for you to submit that. So basically, I figured you could either email us and our emails on our website, or even better, you could email us a audio file.
Or they could message it to us, couldn't they? Can you message them? Like on, I guess you can't. On Instagram, like private PMs and stuff. You can't do that, can you?
Yeah, if you wanted to do a text-based one, but I think an audio clip would be cool, because I feel like that's what I remember from like the Harry Potter podcast. Like the mailbag section was always, listeners calling in or quote unquote calling in, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you email us an audio file, we should be able to stick it into the podcast. And the other thing I was going to say is our podcast is now available on a platform called Anchor.
Yes.
I know it's a Apple app. I'm not sure if you can get it on like Android or whatever, or Google Play, or I don't know. I'm an Apple person, so I don't know the other one. But so the app is called Anchor, and it's its own sort of self-contained podcast directory. I don't think it pulls through podcasts automatically, like Podbean and Overcast. We didn't have to submit our podcast so that it was just automatically on there, because it pulled the feeds from other places. I don't know if it was directly from Libsyn or
iTunes or something.
Yeah. So this is sort of its own self-contained thingy-majigger, but it has a really cool function where listeners can submit a voice message.
Oh, cool.
Through the app. So
I see.
If you wanted to do it that way, you could do it that way as well.
You just have to download the app.
Yeah, you'd have to download the app and then find our podcast and then just click send message or something like that.
Maybe I'll do that to ourselves.
Yeah, send a voice message. Send ourselves a voice message.
Just to experiment. I don't know.
All right, so I feel like I've babbled really incoherently about this, and this could potentially go nowhere. We could get 0 submissions, and next episode you'll just hear no submissions and pretend like it never happened.
Or next episode you'll just have to remind people about this thing that you want
until it happens. I'm gonna make it a thing.
Yeah, until
I'll make Sam submit a submission in a girl's voice and pretend.
Why does he listen to crafting podcasts? Because my wife makes me.
I mean, he does end up listening to quite a few different podcasts.
Yeah, that's how he knows. Like, you guys hardly ever talk about the fiber part. Like, we do. It depends on the week.
Right. So, yarny bits and bobs. You've got some yarny bits and bobs.
I went to a little yarn and fabric store called Pintuck and Purl, and it's in Northampton, New Hampshire. It's just a few miles from the beach. It's the location that they're at now. They've only been in there for 3 months. Prior to that, they were in Exeter, New Hampshire. It is a really nice space. They have a large classroom area in the back, high ceilings, and they don't have a lot of yarn. And they don't even have a lot of fabrics, but they have cute little doodads. It seems very like boutique-y, you know? Mm-hmm. And so they had rifle paper, like little notebooks and stuff, and the cottons, they had like Cloud 9, Cotton and Steel, Liberty of London. So they had some really nice fabrics, and then some of the yarns we saw, it's like Hedgehog Fiber, Swan's Island, Sweet Georgia, La Jolla, Spud and Chloe, what they had was really, really nice. Not a lot, not a huge variety, but
so more like modern and curated.
Yeah. So it was a really nice store. I met B. She's not the owner. The owner's name is something else, Maggie Smith. And so she was really nice.
Not the Maggie Smith.
Not the Maggie Smith, yeah. So I took a couple pictures, so I'll put up pictures. It was just a nice store. I bought some fabric for our shop, and It's got shape on it.
That's really cute.
Of course. And this is actually a cotton and steel fabric.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think they had a lot of cotton and steel fabric. You know, if they didn't have all of the current stuff, I'd be surprised because they had this whole wall and it was all cotton and steel. So yeah, that was really nice. So that's, and then I bought some,
I feel like I could live in cotton and steel fabric.
You could.
Like,
I left it all over there.
Someone just made my whole wardrobe out of cotton and steel. That would be me.
This is the yarn that I got that I want to make my Zweig with. Mm-hmm. It's Sweet Georgia. It's fingering weight. It's got purple and like blue, denim-y, and pink. There's no white. There isn't any undyed sections. Mm-hmm. It's just 80/20 superwash nylon. It's really nice. I haven't seen anything. It just looks smooshy. I don't know how to describe it. Like it's hand dyed, but it's not the colors. You know how sometimes I don't know. It's just like the colors are just kind of gradual, where you go from one color to another, and not. I'm not even sure how to explain that, but it's mostly purples.
Mm-hmm. And how does that look with the pink that you're going to use?
No, this isn't going to have pink. This is the Zweig. So I'm still looking for the lacy bit where I'm going to knit the lacy bit.
Oh, the lacy one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's all I got. I got this 4 skeins of that, and then the fabric. So that was our little jaunt. A few of our favorite things. I love the beach. I wish I lived at the beach. Paolo and I went to the beach, and we sat there for like 4 hours just knitting and chatting. We brought a picnic lunch. It wasn't even hot. Got chilly towards the very end because it was overcast, but the sun did come out a few times. And originally the weather was supposed to be in the 80s, but then, whatever. It turned out not to be that warm, but it was still in the 70s. So it was very pleasant. Just the smell of the sea and the sound of the surf. It's just something that I've always loved, just being at the beach. And sometimes, like even in like the fall or winter time, I just don't want to go to the beach. And your dad's like, why? It's gonna be cold. Like, I just want to go to the beach. So yeah, it was the first time I went to that beach, Hampton Beach, in New Hampshire. Yeah, it was nice to have a cute little boardwalk area. I mean, you can't compare with Seaside Heights, but the boardwalk. I guess it's more like the boardwalk is more like in Miami, where it's by the sea, and then the shops are behind. You have to go across the street to get to the shops. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. Was anybody in the water?
Oh my gosh, there's some crazy kids like going in the water, and I didn't even get my feet wet. I was thinking, maybe I'll get my feet wet, but. No, I wore my dorky zip-off pants because I wasn't sure what the weather was going to be like. And I got there with my long pants and my sneakers. And then once we got there and settled down, I did unzip my pants, the pant legs. I took the pant legs off, so I was just wearing shorts, and I had flip-flops. But yeah, these kids were just like jumping in the water, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so cold. Why are you doing that? But yeah, and there were people sunbathing in their bikini. Like, it's not that warm, but whatever. This is New England.
How warm was it?
It was in the 70s.
Oh.
Yeah, so
I mean,
it was
nice
in the 70s and overcast, so it wasn't like sunny or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very nice, and that's why we went to the Pintuck and Purl, because it was just up the road from where the beach was. That was our little adventure. So that was just so pleasant. Yeah, I just like the beach. Doesn't matter where it is. I like just going to the beach. That's my favorite thing this week.
I don't really have a favorite thing. But speaking of nice weather, today was like the nicest day, and it didn't even reach 70, high 68, but it was amazing. And Sam and I, we went to Holyrood Park whilst everyone else was presumably inside watching the royal wedding stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. Today's royal. I did not wake up at 4:30 in the morning to watch the royal wedding. I haven't watched the TV at all today.
Yeah, no, we despite Sam being completely obsessed with Meghan Markle, or maybe because he's obsessed with Meghan Markle, I don't know. No interest in the royal wedding, but we sat behind Holyrood Palace in Holyrood Park in the sun, and I might have even got slightly sun-pinked.
Oh, yeah?
A tiny, tiny bit. And had some beers, and it was nice. It was amazing. Not quite the beach, but, you know.
In the sun. Just being outdoors. I have been outdoors a lot because it is getting warmer, and now there's no more snow on the ground, and grass is growing. I've had to mow the lawn, and I'm making myself a new planting bed in the yard, or as you guys say out there, the garden. Mm-hmm. And I, just doing stuff like that, just puttering around the yard. It makes me happy. It eats into my knitting time, though. But, being outside does make me happy.
Mm. So, do you have anything for shop talk for Purl and Plum?
I do. You talk about the store while I grab the stuff.
Right. So, for any new listeners, this podcast is sponsored by Purl and Plum, which is my mom's Etsy shop where she sells project bags of all different sorts. Project bags and tote bags. Which tote bags can be used for project bags, but they can also just be used as tote bags.
Yep. What you said. So this year we are a Pro Shop sponsor of Down Cellar Studios Summer Splash Pad Knit Along, Craft Along. Mm-hmm. And so if you don't know who she is, I don't know why you don't, because she's been around for a while. Her podcast has been around for a while, and she's been doing this summer knit along for the last 3 years, I think. This is the third year. Each Pro Shop sponsor creates an exclusive item, which we're only going to sell during the time from now until the end of the knit along. And after that, we won't sell it again. If you buy an exclusive item and you're participating in the knit along or crochet along, you get extra points. Mm-hmm. So it's a point system. So, if you submit something, some X amount of yards is so many points. And if you use something from a sponsor, you get so many points. If it's a Pro Shop sponsor, which is the higher level sponsorship, you get even more points. So if you want to participate, you can head over to Down Cellar Studio Podcast's Ravelry page. And so this time I made our Emily sock bags, but I used a summer beach theme fabric, and it's on a peach fabric, and it's got popsicles and backpack, watermelon, sunglasses, some beach umbrella, and lifesavers. Not lifesavers. Those tubes. What are they called?
Aren't they called lifesavers? Or is that the candy?
Do they call them? Not the candy lifesavers, but the kind that you throw at somebody if they fall in the water. So it's a really cute fabric with
illustrations. It's really cute.
With coordinated with this navy blue and this navy blue and white inside as well. It's really cute. And the prize for that knit along is the ALYSON version of the bag. Mm-hmm. So it's the medium bag, and this is the prize.
Nice. That's really cute.
Yeah. So I only have one more of this medium size in the shop. All the rest are small Emily's, and then of course I have the one for the prize. So you can't buy the prize.
Right. And they've been selling, I've noticed.
Yes, they have been selling, and I've had some people that have bought all three of the exclusive items each year, because this is my third year being a Pro Shop sponsor. Mm-hmm. You can look back at a customer's previous orders, and you can see, they've bought all three exclusive bags or whatever. So, yeah. So this has been fun, and her knit along starts, I believe, June 1st. Mm-hmm. So people are just preparing. So, we've all made our exclusive items, and, you have to either buy the yarn or the bag or the stitch markers or whatever. And people are strategizing. Yes, that.
I feel like you started doing this Cal as a Pro Shop sponsor, 3 years ago or whatever, and that was before.
It was the first year she did it.
It was before I started, like, getting involved in the crafting community. So when you were telling me about this knit along with all its rules of, like, points and sponsors, and I was just like, this is so confusing. I don't understand. Why would you? What is this? And I didn't realize that this was sort of its own beast. Most knit alongs aren't like that. That was very confusing.
She has, like, quite the long rules page. She has a bigger knit along that she does over the NFL, American football season. And
why?
That
Nobody
one
even likes sports. It's
well, that's the thing. It's like you don't have to like sports. It's just you're having a knit along that runs through the NFL season. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people actually do like the sports balls.
Yeah,
just because you don't like the sports balls doesn't mean that other people don't like the sports balls. So, are we going to say goodbye now?
I think we can say goodbye.
Okay. Go do your thing.
Yeah, I'll do my thing. So you can find the show notes for this episode and every other episode on our website, which is kcacypodcast.wordpress.com. You can follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is just kcacypodcast. And you can join our Ravelry group. All you have to do is search Keep Calm and Carry Yarn podcast on the groups tab on Ravelry, and you come say hey and get a special shout out on one of the episodes, or you could tell us what BuzzFeed thinks your what was it?
Your food color?
No, it was like what your main characteristic is based off of your food picture preferences or whatever BuzzFeed quiz we do of the week.
Reveal one of your best qualities.
Yeah, you tell us that in Ravelry, and you can also please make sure to subscribe on iTunes or YouTube or wherever else you listen to us. I think that's it. So thank you for listening.
And remember to keep calm and carry yarn.